Okay, I picked up a pair of Research Laboratories Soundmaster speakers. It's an obscure brand. I think it's a house brand from somewhere. I don't know where. I picked them up for $50. The reason I picked them up is I had a pair of these in a two-way, and I really liked them. I liked them so much I gave them to a friend, and my friend still uses them. They had really good soundstage, and they were just good imaging, very nice speaker for a song, $50. And I was hoping that these were going to be even better, because these are little bigger speakers. These are a three-way with a dual tweeter, if I remember right. Let's go ahead and take a peek here and take the grills off. Yeah, it's a three-way speaker with dual tweeters, which I don't like dual tweeters as a rule, unless they're real close together. Even then, I'm not a big fan of dual tweeters, but that's what they did with these. The foams look good. Looks like they've been refoamed. Cone is on the outside of the foam, which is the way it's supposed to be typically. Now this one is not. This one's been foamed differently. This one has the foam on the outside of the cone. The woofer has the foam on the inside of the cone. Let's check the other one out here and see what they did over there. Dual tweeters, dust cap punched in, no big deal. Refoamed underneath. I really can't tell with this one. This is refoamed on the surface. So let's look at this one again too. Yeah, at least they're done identically. There's no way of knowing what the original configuration was like. I know a lot of people will. It's known that JBL has a certain way. You always want the foam underneath the cone, glued from the bottom side to the top. With these, who knows? Another little dust cup damage. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I like to set them up near field. Here's my chair. I always set them up near field so that I can just hear the speaker and try to minimize the room impacts so much. If you look where I've got other speakers in the room here, they're going to have reflections bouncing off the wall, which is going to affect the sound quite a bit. So I like, when I'm testing speakers, I like to get them up close as possible. Here they're about 5 feet away. Let's double check our measurements here with my little laser guide. Right there, we're at 5 1-inch and 5 2-inch. They're pretty close. Let's move this one back a little bit. That should do it. Now let's give them a listen. Hear what they sound like. They sound nice, good bass. I ran some tests on them already. I always run my imaging tests. Here's a good one right here.
My voice should appear to come from a single point at the far left of your soundstage. My location should be exact and well focused.
My voice should appear to come from a single point in the center of your soundstage. My location should be exact and clearly focused. No part of my voice should appear to come from the left or the right channel.
My voice should appear to come from a single point.
Okay, they image okay. They're not terrific. When when I was playing some music earlier with them, I thought I detected something a little bit wrong. They seemed to be a little putting out a little more volume from the left side, and the imaging was off just a little bit. And the imaging was off in a way I kind of felt that something was wrong. So what I did is I put some music on and I went up and I started listening to all the drivers to make sure all the drivers were working. And lo and behold, this tweeter is not working at all. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to open these things up. We're going to look at the crossover. We're going to find a tweeter replacement. If it's the driver, it could be the crossover, but I doubt it. This tweeter's running fine. This one's not running at all, so it's probably the driver's blown. I think I actually have a spare tweeter of this model. It was pretty common back in the 70s. A lot of speaker manufacturers use this particular model. So what I'll probably end up doing is swapping that tweeter out and then looking at the crossover to see if it's worth doing a crossover upgrade. So this is my current project, Research Laboratories Soundmaster speakers. Let's move them to the bench and get started. And stripped. It just moves, so it might be loose. See if we can get in here a little bit and just pry it out. Oh, it's loose. It's loose. Okay, this is easy. Let's see. Oh, look at that. There's only one wire attached. Well, I guess we know why it's not working. Okay, well that means we definitely got to pull a woofer and find out where that other wire is, what's going on with that thing. So let's pull a woofer. Let's get the faster screwdriver. Oh, that's my impact. I don't need that. This is a little quicker. And 8. Goes right there. Let's see if this comes out easy too. Yep, that comes out easy too. Let's see what we got here. Well, there's the, okay. See if we can do this without unhooking. I don't think we're going to be able to do this without unhooking. So let's remember the white is on the right side here. Closest to me. Here is our missing wire. That, I presume, goes right on there. Yep, that's all it is. That's all it was. I bet the tweeter's just fine. While we're here, let's take a look at the crossover. Oh, it's pretty simple. 2 caps. Pretty easy repair job if I want to make a change here, which I probably will. I'll take and order these capacitors. Let's see what they are. Can't quite read them from here. There we go. What is it? That's a 22. It's a 22, that's going to be for the mid-range. I can't quite read that one from here. Why can't I read that one? Well, let's get the camera. I'm gonna get down in there right nice and close. That is a 4 microfarad. So we got a 22 and a 4. The 4 will be feeding the tweeter. The 22 will be filtering the mid-range. I think because these are so easy to get at from here, I'm going to go ahead and replace those caps. Audio, 20 microfarad, 1%ers, precisions. So I'll use those for the 22s. So I don't even have to order from Parts Express. We'll let that order go. So I've got it on one of them on the bench here. Let's get started. Love my drill for stuff like this because it's so fast. I don't use it for putting screws in, but I use it for pulling screws out. Can I get that one? Okay, that's 8. See if we can get this woofer up here kind of gently. Notice they use what look like plumbing compound to set these things in here. So I'm going to pop a little bit when I get it out here. There we go. Pop, pop. Now it's time to note all the connector positions and the colors of the wires. And what I like to do is I like to pull my iPhone out and take a photo. That way I always know what I got here. So I got white and what looks to be purple. I'll double check that when I get it out here. Set this aside. Get my headlamp on so I can tell these colors. It's a brown. That's what it is. It's brown. Is that stripped? That one's stripped. That one's stripped. That one's not. That one's stripped. So I got... Someone has obviously worked on these. So I'm going to have to... I've only got one screw holding this mid-range in. Look at that. Only one screw. So when I reset these, I'll obviously drill new screw holes in them. Oop, I dropped that one on the magnet. Out of there. Let's get our camera back. What do we got here? We got, looks like white and blue. Pull these off. White and red, white and blue. So are marked. People have been in these speakers before. Let's pull the tweeters real quick. Remember the days when we used old hand screwdrivers? Those of you that are a little older like me? A lot of work for these things. This thing out of here. Oh, it's in there pretty tight. It'd be hard to get out. Yes, get out. There we go. Pop. So here we got red and white. So picture that. And my guess is we have the same color arrangement here. Oh, that doesn't even reach. So I might need to do some wire work on these things. How did they do that? So again, it's red. Is it the same orientation? Red to the left. Red to the left, yeah. Let's just unhook them. I'll have to remember that. But we're going to need to lengthen those. Okay. Last but not least, let's get the terminal plate off. One more underneath this little piece of foam here. It is right there. Okay. That should come off. Yep, it does. It's free. Okay, now we got our terminal plate and primitive crossover out. So let's set this aside and we'll clean off the bench and we'll start working on this. Yeah, it's nice and shiny. So this is actually going to be a little tougher than usual. The reason is I'm going to have to do it right for the most part. Usually what I like to do is I like to clip the leads off the caps real close to the cap, throw them away, and then just twist the new cap onto there. But I don't have enough lead here to do that with the 4 microfarad. I could do it with this one though. And that, see, the reason I like doing that is because a lot of these terminal connections have a lot of wires coming into them, and if you disturb the solder joint, you're talking about losing connection for a lot of these things, and I'd rather just avoid that. So here I got the 22. These are my 22s. What I'm going to have to do is run some jumper wire. At least, well, maybe not. We'll see how it goes here. But I clearly can't do that with this one here, so I'm going to have to take that one out. So let's just see if we can get that one out of there. How did they do it there? There, that's all. Now I'm going to want to clean up that connector. See if we can get the solder off it. Some soldering wick. Come on. Yeah, that stuff works nice. A little more. There we go. Now I can feed the wire off the cap into that, and I can resolder it. Clean the tip. Discard the used solder wick so they have it clean for next time. Okay, so that's the 4. So here's my 4s. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start working on it. As I take it apart, I'll put the new ones in. There we go. Always use good solder, folks. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Never works out. Clean your tip. See how that turned out. That looks okay. Now, I think we're going to do the same thing here. There's no use trying to salvage this connection. Let's just... But I got wire length problems, so I got to worry about that a little bit too. So maybe I will. Maybe I'm going to cut that off right here. I might try to use that lead. Let's see how we're going to do this. So the next one in is the 22. Two is big. So if I had a little more lead, I'd twist those things around. I don't really have as much lead to do that. Oh, maybe I do. I think I'm gonna have enough. Let's see. No. See if I can get that. Nope, I gotta tighten. Get that wrapped around so that it doesn't flop around. That's a little better. How's that look? That looks pretty good. Now we got to join these together to this lead, and then we're done. If we can get these to meet. So we're going to have to clean this off. We won't use that joint. We'll clip this off. We'll freshen it up. ourselves a little to work with here. Oops, that didn't work out quite right. But there, that works. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that or not. I think, let's see. Maybe. No, I gotta be a little more secure than that. There, that's a little more, just a little less, a little more stable. This is kind of a tricky solder move here. Take a lot in that joint. With any luck, we now have our new crossover caps in place. Just like before. So the way this is set up, the way this is set up is the brown wire goes directly to the white wires and bypasses the capacitors altogether. The 20 microfarad, which is gonna filter out a lot of the low frequencies, but not all of them, is going to have the mid-range attached right off the end of that. And then finally, the tweeter is running off both these caps in series through an L pad so you can turn up and turn down the tweeter. So this is a very, very simple crossover, which makes it quite a bit easier working. Oh, I had a little failure here. Failure! I guess I gotta resolder that. Thought that was too easy. It was just too easy. So we can attach it there. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to solder it right there. Thought that was too easy. There we go. Keep your solder tip clean. Okay, that gave us a little more length for this. We were a little short on our length for our tweeters, if I remember that, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to put them back in reverse order, and I'll reach underneath and attach them that way. So basically we have our crossover upgraded. Now it's time to put the things back together. Let's double check this thing here. Here it is here. That's not the right one there. That's the black one. But the one that comes off the 22 microfarad capacitor goes positive to here. And you get another ground. On there. These are not in very tight. These are just snug, because this particle board strips real easily. Okay, and there we have it. Now let's put it back up and make sure it sounds good. I'm going to put it back up next to the original, and we'll hook it up live and actually see if we can hear any difference. Bass is the same, but that's to be expected because the speakers run full range. The mids and the highs sound more subdued. Now maybe that's because it's new caps, but the one on the right, the original, I wouldn't even say subdued, it sounds harsher. The one on the left sounds smoother. Let's listen to it one more time. definitely the highs are harsher on the right, and I don't know if that is related to this. I'm not sure why it would be harsher with the old caps, but it may be that the new caps need to be broken in a little bit. It just sounds like the right is a little louder, but it also sounds a little harsher. Let's move on and check polarity real quick. Check it right here. Let's see. Okay, what that 3 tests do is it runs a low frequency to the speakers and then inverts the polarity to test whether you have your speakers with correct polarity or not. And then it does it with mid-range frequency, and then it does it with the higher range frequency. And what this is telling me is whether I got my tweeters and my mid-ranges installed correctly along with the woofer. And everything sounds correct to me. Let's listen to it one more time. Yeah, speaker sounds good. Speaker sounds good. So now it's time to do the next one, and then we'll have a good pair.